So we're now in our last field of drilling, sowing our winter wheat this year for the autumn 2012 for harvest 2013. It's been probably one of the most difficult years I think I remember, and I know that we have had a lot more luck with the weather than other people in the other parts of the country, and I'm just relieved really to be doing this last field. And it's the 9th of November. We normally would be finished by the end of October drilling, and actually this seedbed isn't too bad. It's a little bit sticky. The wheels are sort of slightly plucking the soil behind, but I'm just going to change, oops, going a bit of a hill, got to change down a gear. The wheels on the back are slightly, I don't know if you can see, but the soil is sort of flacking off the back of the wheels a bit, but it's not pulling any seed out. We're probably drilling it slightly deeper than we normally would, just to make sure that that doesn't happen. But the seed bed looks pretty good considering it's November, and with rain forecast tonight, we should hopefully get this field done within the next few hours before that arrives. The one thing I forgot to say was that we've been drilling our cereals this year on narrow rows, just as an experiment for this year, to try and allow the crop to compete with the weeds a little bit more, rather than sowing on the wide rows and being able to hoe with our inter-row hoe on the cereals especially. But because the soil is so wet still, the coulters that we use to do on narrow rows are much wider than the ones we're using here, and they move more soil and dig more wet out, which would probably not enable us to do this drilling today. And so we've got what they use for bean coulters, which are a lot narrower, but they also sow on wide rows. So this field will be sowed on wide rows, and it'll be an interesting experiment to see if there's any difference in yield between this and the ones on this farm that's sown on narrow rows. The only thing, it won't be a direct comparison, because of course the ones sowed on narrow rows were sowed a little bit earlier and the crop is already up, whereas this one will be later. But one of the advantages of the bean coulters is they don't move quite as much soil, so they do go much better in wetter conditions.